Today on Damian on Design on the Lucy Ann Lance Show, we're going to go into the outdoors and talk about our outdoor space, Damian. Damian is acclaimed for his creative design and unwavering focus on the environment, and today you can really have at the environment.
We can. You know, we've seen such a transformation in outdoor living and its focus over a period. I think everyone's aware of this. I mean, just from the standard decks, right, to the extraordinary range of furniture, furnishings, outdoor fireplaces, outdoor kitchens, terrace warmers, incredible outdoor furniture. And so this focus has been on really expanding interiors to the exteriors, even here in Michigan, even though, supposedly we have a shorter summer. But those outdoor spaces are so critical. And when we're designing, we're looking for those opportunities all the time, for the space, the interior space, to sort of leak out to the outside and literally make outdoor rooms that are usable.
It occurs to me, at least here in America back in the 1960s, the only way to get you to your backyard was through the garage. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
And so things
Right.
have greatly changed in the design of homes to easily get to the backyard.
Yeah, exactly. And I, side yard, front yard. I think the success of these, I'm adamant that the success of these outdoor spaces is so hugely determined by orientation. Because, you can go ahead and put a wonderful deck, put a beautiful outdoor kitchen, all of that stuff on the west side of your house, and then find yourself it's an impossible space to use. From dinner time. When the heat comes in,
down.
Heat comes beating down. You come back from work, you want to sit outside, have some friends over, you want to barbecue, anything like that, and suddenly you're out there baking in the sun. So the strategies of outdoor space design, I think, are very important. So where is it on the house? How does it connect to the interior? How do you see yourself using it? Are you going to be eating out there a lot? Therefore, the connection to kitchen is important. Is it a private kind of an outdoor space or a bedroom? Is it an outdoor shower, spa, hot tub area or a master bathroom? Is it your front porch? Is it a well-shaded terrace? All of these things are really critical when considering how you handle your outdoor spaces.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a big space. You don't have to live in a mansion to utilize your backyard in an effective way.
Absolutely.
What are some of the key elements, Damian, that people should be thinking about when they put some kind of structure together for how they're going to use their outdoors?
First of all, as I mentioned, orientation. So where are you putting it? And so even on the north side here in Michigan, for argument's sake, where we think of that as being it is the cooler side of the house. But in the late afternoons and early mornings, in the middle of summer, we do get sun out there. Our sun rises and sets north of the east-west line in the middle of summer. So even there, it's important to. So I look for a number of different ways to deal with shading. So shading is one issue. So either natural, trees and so on, elements like pergolas to create shade, pergolas with vines that grow over them, or just screen walls of some kind that provide the kind of shade. Then I think it depends on, are you creating something which is very intimate? So say it's an urban setting and you've got neighbors.
Right.
You're now creating an outdoor space that's very introspective, and I think that has one kind of design. And then if you're more out in the country, it's a much more open, extroverted space, and so you're looking for the distant views. And you need a design around those things. I love water as well. I'm in the process, I think, of building my own 4th water feature in my garden. I think it's the 4th one. I just love the sound of water, and I love it included in a garden. And it works very nicely, I think, on some of these outdoor spaces. So one of my porches, which was completely wisteria covered now. It's on the north side, but literally it was unbearable for the first few years in the late afternoon, even on the north side, because of that late afternoon sun. With the wisteria now completely covering it, it's the most beautiful, cool space, even with the sun bearing,
How lovely, though, with that wisteria. Beautiful plant.
It's a great shade plant. It grows fast. It's very particular about its root system, though. You've got to give it good soils. But then once it gets going, it can actually get out of hand. It's a very enthusiastic plant.
So even if your backyard is in a certain position in your house, and that's the area that you want to utilize, you can start looking at shading and plantings and other ways to cover it, keep it cool.
Yes.
You even used something from the old fox tent and awning for one part of your
I did.
area in the back. Talk about that.
We have what I pulled from my South African design heritage, a veranda on the east side of our house. It faces due east. And it's a long, thin space, so it has a seating area, kind of a very large sectional at one end, and then a dining area at the other end, and that's where we eat in the evenings, so that we can watch the sun, the shadows lengthen, and not have the sun in our eyes. But I didn't want to do a full screen porch. I love the openness of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did two things. One, I had fox tent and awning, as you mentioned, when they were here in business. They made me screen curtains. And then I also had a set of canvas curtains made. So this porch is about nearly 30 feet long, or this veranda. And so there are 4 panels of each of these. So you can draw the screens at night. Now it's not as 100% effective as keeping the bugs out as a full screen porch, but it's 90% there. And then for those mornings, like weekend mornings, if we want to have breakfast out there, then you can use the white canvas curtains to help regulate the sun. Because that too can get a little unpleasant on a hot morning.
Right.
But literally we move them so we can shade as much as we want and still keep the views out over the meadow as much as we want.
We're talking about your outdoor design space with Damian Farrell from Damian Farrell Design Group, his website dfdgonline.com. You also have an example today of a house that you have been designing for me.
Yes.
I hope it gets built someday.
So do we.
Because it is beautiful. And I gave you some specifics of what I want in a home, and you ran with it and created quite a site. And today, let's focus on the back area there.
Sure.
And the outdoor space that you've come up with, which includes a grill off the kitchen and a number of different seating areas, creating a lush, lovely environment.
Yeah. Well, I try to incorporate what I think are what I see as the most common elements. So the grill, for instance, a lot of people like to grill year-round. So then why not put the grill, we have doors out of the kitchen onto this terrace, and so why not put that grill close by?
Right off the kitchen.
Right off the kitchen. Walk out the kitchen, 10 feet away is the grill.
You're carrying your tray of steaks, and
everything,
you don't have to
exactly.
go too far.
And right over it we have a pergola. This particular one has some canvas drawn or draped over this pergola, and so that provides the shelter both in the summertime and in the wintertime. So now you have your year-round cooking, and that's very popular with our clients. You can see I put one tree on this terrace, and with the shadows turned on, the tree is very strategically placed. It's right at the angle where somewhere in the hours between 7 and 10 on a midsummer evening, that tree would almost completely shade. Now, yes, the tree needs some time to grow,
Right.
but the idea is there.
And for people to understand on the radio, we also have this on YouTube. You can Google Damian Farrell on YouTube or Lucy Ann Lance, and these videos will come up. But for our radio audience, that tree literally is coming right up out of the pavers.
Correct.
On the back area there. Most times you think about putting plantings around
edge.
that, and here you've got it coming up and out.
It's an integral part of the design. So it's there to provide shade, beauty, and it's there to provide foreground as well. So this kind of layering effect of where you're sitting, the porch surface. We are showing a little low decorative wall, so the wall and then the garden beyond, and and so you build up this layering and this interest. The other thing that was interesting with this design is that we have a porch or a terrace off your master bedroom, which if left alone actually links with this terrace that's off the living room kitchen. So you and I talked about this terrace off your kitchen off your bedroom being more private. So I did the same thing. I just dropped the ground in there, created a planter, and put some low shrubs in there, things that I would anticipate growing to about 6 to 8 feet. And you can walk around it, so that the two are connected, but it gives you your own little private terrace as well as something which is scaled for larger groups of people.
Great design ideas for the outdoors from Damian Farrell. What